Hey guys, Jim here with the Twin Home Experts. Today we're going to go over a question we get asked quite often, and that is mold inside of a wall dangerous? Let's get right into it. So is mold inside of a wall dangerous? Well, it definitely could be. Any type of mold or mildew that becomes toxic in an indoor breathing space can definitely be allergenic to the body, especially if somebody has been through a compromised immune system or has a compromised immune system. So it's very, very important to conduct and do the proper investigation. In this case, our client did a mold test to the outside. These windows were leaking. So she has a compromised immune system, so she was very worried about the conditions. She smelled a musty mold odor. So she had the test done, and it did come back as high elevations of mold. As you can see, this home is in perfect condition on the inside. You know, there's no visible mold. When we did the investigation with our micro mold camera, we identified, especially in this area right here, quite a bit of damage and presence of black mold. Now guys, just so you know, for the sake of this video, we went ahead and neutralized this, so I'm able to get in my containment without a mask. This has been fully neutralized with our CS4 mold inhibitor. It's an amazing product. It allows us to be able to, you know, spray a coating on the mold, and then it allows us to work in a space before we actually remediate the mold. We're going to show you how we do that next. Okay guys, so what to do when you do have mold inside of your walls? Well, the very first thing you want to do is hire a professional, because oftentimes mold inside of a wall, you can't really do it as a DIY unless you have all of the proper air scrubbers, containment. You know, very, very important when you're dealing with mold inside of a wall and you're actually removing it, because oftentimes when you're cutting those walls and those spores are getting released and you don't have the proper equipment, then you're going to cause secondary damage into the other indoor breathing space. What does mold smell like? We get that question all the time. And anytime you guys are around any windows that are potentially leaking, plumbing in the walls that's leaking, you're going to get a musty, mildew, damp odor. That's a very good indicator that you have mold that's inside of the wall and it's coming out through the materials. So a way to really detect that as well, you guys, if you had a little cheap moisture reader and you sort of detect some of the materials, and if there is moisture, then for sure there's going to be mold inside there, and it's off-gassing coming into the indoor breathing space through the building materials. What causes mold inside of a wall? Guys, without moisture, mold cannot survive and grow. So you've got to, we're big believers here in Twin Home Experts, is to not only get rid of the mold, but we are big believers in stopping the water source. So if you're hiring a mold remediation company and they've gone to this extent of using their containments, they've opened up the wall, do not close up those walls until you do the leak detection. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. And right here, these windows caused the leak. We opened it up. We're performing the leak detection to determine, and you can see water here. We're performing a hydrostatic water test, and the water is coming through. And these are fairly new windows, you guys. So the customer was smelling odor, musty odor, especially during the hard rains when it was windy, and this is what was happening. The most important part of mold remediation is twofold. Get rid of the mold, protect your house, but most importantly is get rid of the moisture source. And you've got to find a company that is going to be able to do both when you're dealing with mold inside of a wall. Very, very important. How do you get rid of mold inside of a wall cavity? Well, there's a couple different things that we use here at the Twin Home Experts, and one of them is our rapid mold removal agent. It's a phenomenal product. It gets way deep into the cell structure of the wood, drywall, completely kills the root of the mold. You know, oftentimes clients will start to use bleach thinking that they're going to remove it, and yes, it does remove the biofilm, the topical portion, but the way that mold grows, you guys, is there's a root. That root gets embedded into the materials. So if you don't kill that root and you just take the biofilm off, it's going to regrow, especially if the moisture is continuing to feed that. So we're certified an amazing antimicrobial. It's called our rapid mold removal agent. And again, it gets not only the biofilm, but it gets way deep into the cell structure of that material and then eradicates that mold. After we've removed it and killed the mold, we then come in with our fogger. We are certified in a CS4 product that is absolutely amazing. What it does, you guys, is we inject it inside the wall cavity after the HEPA vacuuming, the micro mold wipe down, using our rapid mold removal agent. This is a great way to decontaminate the critical barrier, this containment area. And it also gets way into other parts of the wall cavity that potentially has gotten missed during the remediation. So that's the way in which we remove mold from a wall cavity. What's also important about remediating mold, guys, is making sure that you have the proper drying equipment, because you want to be able to dry the entire structure. All of the moisture has to be eradicated before the mold is removed inside of a wall. Another question we get is, can I live in the house while the mold removal is being completed? And that answer is yes. Especially if it's confined to a section of the property, just like this here. We've got our clients that are definitely living and sleeping in the house. We've got our air scrubbers upstairs, downstairs, so any particulates that are inside or outside of our containment area are being scrubbed with pure HEPA filtration. So it really depends on how severe the mold is. If it's in your HVAC, then no, we would recommend to get out at least for a day to 24 to 48 hours. All right, guys, please leave your comments down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. As always, thanks for watching.